When you're playing with dogs in the beginning, my goal is that my dog would play with anything, right? That my dog is not specific to one toy. And he said, if you notice a dog that you're playing with, that they're fabric sensitive, they play well with a specific, we call this equipment bias, right? There are dogs that like a specific kind of surface or texture or that type of thing. We see it a lot in protection work, right? In the old days when I was raising IPO, Schutzhund IGP dogs, when I started, we did everything on jute, which is the material that a sleeve cover is made out of. So you start with puppies with a burlap rag, that was a rag, like a burlap sack, that was like the same material. Then you went on to jute tugs, and then you went on to like wedges, and then you went on to sleeves. So the dogs all bit the same material from the time they were puppies kind of all the way up. It had a similar texture and things like that. And a lot of those dogs we saw when they were adults, if you tried to put them on like something made out of bite suit material, what we call linen, right? Those tugs that we see, that the synthetic material, you'll hear people call it linen because it was originally made out of French linen years and years and years ago, but nobody makes it out of linen anymore. It's some kind of synthetic fabric, but it's basically the same idea. And with those dogs, if you tried to give them something, they didn't bite it well, they didn't like it. Even a really good dog, a really motivated dog, they're like, nope. And you've seen this, I'm sure everyone's seen this, like somebody's Labrador that they played with a tennis ball only for the dog's whole life. You have this 3-year-old dog that's kooky for a tennis ball. You go out and throw a rubber ball, the dog chases it and goes, no. Comes back to you like, that's not my tennis ball, what the hell are you doing, right? So that dog it has enough motivation, it should play with anything, but it got patterned, and dogs are very much creatures of habit that way, right? And sometimes this is a problem for us. In protection sports, it's a big problem because suits are made out of different materials. Your dog could have an issue if you tried to put it onto something different. It's like, nope, that doesn't feel right. We see this sometimes with suit dogs if I have very tight-fitting suits or big, loose, sloppy suits. And some dogs don't grip them as well because it's not what they're used to. They get used to a certain kind of feel in their mouth. And so we try to resist that. If I'm training an obedience dog or something like that, it's not really a big issue. My dog only plays with lamb's wool toys, but they're really into it. I can still motivate that dog. I can still work with that. But we try to avoid that. I'd like it so that I have flexibility in the type of toy I use, that I can switch toys and it's not a big issue. I'm not reliant on having a very specific kind of toy. So his question then was, do you play with their favorite thing until you get them going up to a certain point and then try other things? I do a little bit of that. So if they're first learning to play, I'm going to find the thing they like to. I'm developing habits, and I want to get them into it. But in that process, I'll also change materials up a lot. We change materials a lot with our puppies from the ground up. I have all kinds of different toys and tugs and rags. Some are leather, some are linen, some are fleece, some are jute, and we have all different kinds of surfaces. Some are hard, some are soft, some are flat, some are thick, right? And I play with all kinds of different stuff like that so the dogs get used to that. One of the best ways to do it is during restrained play. So, because I can frustrate the dog up. So when I'm going to change to a new toy a lot, and my dog's having issues, and we saw it with the little Mali female. I can't remember her name yesterday. Yeah, Clutch? Yeah, when she had a new toy, bam, she hits it, she gives it to her, she drops it on the floor, she looks at it for a second, and then picks it up and decides, okay, that's all right. Like, so, what was that? Is that a new tug? Is it a new tug? What was that? Right? That kind of thing. And so, but restrained play is a really good place to do that because you get them so cranked, have somebody hold the dog, you tease them like crazy, they're not paying attention to the fact that it's not the normal toy. You get them all fired up and then you step in and let them grab it. And before they realize it's something new, they're grabbing it and you're playing. If they slip off a couple times, you tease them again. And that's a good way. And just play around with it. Right? I'll try usually with restrained play. If you play too long with their favorite, then it gets harder. Also, it's good if you're going to try a new toy. Don't come out with the new toy. Try to play with them. And if they don't play, get their favorite toy. Right? They'll learn to hold out for their favorite toy. Right? Just like food, yeah? You go like, here, play with this. The dog's like, I'm not into it. If they're not into that new toy or you're struggling with it, I put them up and I try again later. But don't go, okay, here, let's grab your favorite toy then. Right in the same session, because then they go, oh, I can deliberately ignore this and you'll bring me my favorite toy at that point. And so I usually try to do it through frustration.